People drive through Puddles. They really piss me off. They splatter me with water with their autocratic slaughter. I just don't understand why they're so unconcerned for watercourse displacement round every ruddy turn. But they'll take their car for granted just one too many times when H2O and Dynamo begin to fraternise. And I for one am beckoning to see the day of reckoning, a day of sweet corrosion for their careless locomotion. Here we are, another day here on the site.
Another day, another dollar.
And we thought we were going to be on our own because there are 2 other vans on here left, but 3 more have turned up in pouring rain. And 3 caravans all setting up in pouring rain, and it's forecasting rain all day and tomorrow and next week.
Oh, he's a cheery soul.
It's dry in here.
You may have guessed that by now.
Yeah, I know. Such a negative individual. Yeah. Yeah. Anything to
Anything to talk about? Don't think so.
don't think we have we?
No.
In a general sense, nothing to talk about. No,
Can't think of anything, can you?
nothing to add to this bald narrative.
No. No.
Sorry.
Sorry about that. We can't think of a thing. We're brain dead at the moment.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Right, well, going back to the story, after 11 weeks in training, you were divided up. Half of you went to become field engineers, and the other half went to become transport drivers. I was on the half that went on transport. Field engineers, they were bridge builders, what they called half-bay and laugh-bay, heavy floating bridge and light floating bridge. I took my driving test in a lorry with a crash gearbox, double clutching. And at the end of the course, everybody got posted to their appropriate locations, but not Icky. Once again, I'm singled out because I was running for the army in the army championships, so I was kept behind. And I did run in the army championships, and I believe I came 6th, which wasn't bad going. Anyway, I went on embarkation leave, and that's when I went to see the old lady who I lived in at Home Firth, lived with at Home Firth when I worked on the farm that I told you about during embarkation leave. I also remember borrowing my dad's car for a day, and I drove to Scarborough. Now this is winter, out of season, the place were dead. And I met a couple of girls playing truant from school and had a nice day. But anyway, it was time to go, and I had to fly to Hanover. I think I flew on Plummet Airlines. The airline rattled more than this camper van does, this motorhome. I think it was called Britannia Airlines actually, who I flew with. But we landed in Hanover Airport, and there was a military bus waiting for me. Big green military bus. I was the only one on it. I'm sat there, and I've never flown before. I've never been out of the country before in my life. So I'm looking out of the window at Germany, Hanover in particular. And then Hanover eventually gave way to Celle, and then that eventually gave way to a barren wilderness. And I'm sat on this bus looking out of the window, and there's this, the bus is going along a concrete road built by Hitler, and they were just like massive concrete slabs, and the coats were going ga-dum, 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 ga-dum over this concrete road. And eventually there's just this wilderness of mud, which I eventually discovered was Saltau Plains, where actually Hitler trained his tanks, and that's where we did our tank training. And eventually I arrived at Hohne, the camp, situated just up the road from Belsen. In fact, the camp was used as a hospital for the poor sods who survived at Belsen. And not only now am I a sapper, but I'm a sprog sapper. That is a new lad, lowest of the low. I'm right at the bottom of the pecking order, a sprog sapper. And my introduction to this place was took me out for a night out, got me pissed on German beer. And the following morning I woke up and I was sweeping under my bed, and I heard this noise, this bloke behind me said, "Give us brush." And I just carried on sweeping under my bed, and I just said, "Yeah, just a minute, mate." And with that, I'm pinned up against a wall, and his head goes in on my head like a machine gun. And that's my introduction to Jock Cafferty. And there were 6 of us in this room, and he was making sure I knew who was the boss in this room. And this guy, Jock McCafferty, was brought up in the Gorbals in Glasgow. He were a right hard case, but he became my minder. And that's how I survived at Hohne. I had Jock McCafferty as my minder. That didn't happen immediately, but eventually he took a shine to me, and nobody were allowed to touch me after that. Yeah, right, that's it for now. See you later. Bingham's potted meat. It spreads on bread and crackers too. And happen you didn't know this, but it comes from Yorkshire through and through. Bingham's potted meat. It's delicious. Now you see, Binghams, if you'd have only replied to my email, see what you're missing.
Well, they're not. They're getting it.